What's going on, everybody? This is your Astrology Horoscope for the weekend of February 15th and 16th, 2024. I'm astrologer Alex Skyles, and welcome to the Moonbase. Hope you guys are doing great. It's good to be here with all of you, and hope you had a great week. Definitely a wild week with that full moon and the Uranus squares, and now this weekend Saturn is coming out of its shadow finally with support of Mars, even though it's retrograde. And I think the most important thing we want to look at this weekend is when this moon crosses this south node right as we come into Saturday morning here. Because we haven't felt this a lot. And nor have we ever felt this with the moon in Virgo crossing the south node as Saturn is coming out of its shadow. So 19 degrees is where Saturn went retrograde in Pisces. So, there's been a lot of messy shit. A lot of things we've overlooked. This moon in Virgo crossing the south node really wants to let things go this weekend, But it's also forcing us, and Saturn is forcing us to look at the reality to help us align our bodies and our minds so we can actually move forward and remember that divine connection, from all these lessons that Saturn has been teaching us, these spiritual lessons, right? This moon will dip into Libra just after it'll cross the south node, and now we're moving into cardinal territory here. It's going to make a nice trine to Pluto, so I think emotionally, there's definitely a lot of deeper feelings that can come up that's very positive, helping us balance out our communication and the energy between our relationships, and, especially when it comes to our deepest connections, especially when it comes to your relationships with your friends, your deepest connections with your friends. I think a lot of emotional conversations can come up, and definitely connecting with people in a unique way and developing new relationships and cultivating new relationships. But you know what? Like this Mercury now in Pisces and the moon, they might feel a little weird, okay? Because the way our minds are starting to flow from this more intuitive, subconscious Neptunian space, we gotta also be a little bit more surface level this weekend to be able to get our point across. If we get too deep with Mercury and Pisces, we get too poetic, we can lose people, right? We can lose the camaraderie, or we can separate ourselves from reality, or, if you're in a group situation this weekend with this moon in Libra, which is making a great trine to Pluto, separating your internal subconscious thoughts with the physical world to participate. Because with Mercury and Pisces, it's hard. We get dreamy. We get into this daydreaming aspect, right? And this is great for journaling and channeling and creativity and all this stuff, right? But this moon really wants to engage with others and get out with people and connect with people on a very deep level, expressing our creativity from a very passionate place and connecting with people on a very deep, passionate level is what this moon really wants to do this weekend. Of course, it's going to oppose Venus, which is in shadow, and is going to go retrograde right as Mars is coming direct here in just a few weeks. So when this moon opposes Libra, we're going to feel Venus retrograde. So you know what? If you got some lingerers from your past relationships, exes, boyfriend, whatever, this moon in Libra is going to start to really ramp up what this Venus retrograde is going to be all about. So, people hitting you up from the past, they say, hey, I miss you, right? I remember the way things used to be. That shit's going to start to come up this week with this moon opposing Venus. And it's like, man, when this moon really gets to look at Venus from the other side, and it's like, man, you think back to 8 years ago, the last time we were in this Venus retrograde cycle. It's like, expect moments from that area, from that time period, to start reflecting into now, okay? Of course, too, this Venus retrograde is going to isn't going to happen until March, but it is this moon this weekend that it's going to start letting it. It's the moon. The moon is like a mirror. It reflects. It's going to start reflecting. 8 years ago, it's going to start reflecting 8 years ago from now into the relationships that you're in now. Okay, because people we were surrounded by and with 8 years ago, may not necessarily be here, or maybe long-standing relationships that have been going on for a long period of time that maybe are healthy. This could be, a beginning of like, hey, it's like it's been a while. Let's talk about this. Let's take a look at this. Let's try to balance this out, because with this Venus in Aries, it just goes one way without looking around, right, and considering others. So this moon really wants to balance that out this weekend, because we're really going to start to feel Venus retrograde going into the weekend, coming into Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening. Definitely some very important conversations are going to come up surrounding relationships. That's going to really make what Venus retrograde is going to be all about. Like this weekend, like we want to capture the themes, right? Remember the themes that are playing out this weekend, because over the next 2 months, these things are going to the conversations are going to keep coming up. More answers are going to start to show up. Definitely some confusion as well, because Venus crossed that North Node here just a few weeks ago in Pisces. So we have to remember that, this Venus retrograde's in Aries, okay? But it will dip back into Pisces, and it will touch these areas. I think it's going to go direct at 26 or 27 degrees. So it will go direct where it did cross the North Node. So we also have to look at the people that we are connecting with, or the creative ideas, or, the financial situations that, we're trying to, create, not only from a practical place with the South Node of Virgo, but things that we're divinely connected to. Like a lot of things over the past few weeks have started to pop up, and Venus will dip back in to Pisces and cross those areas again. So definitely Friday, Saturday, we're going to start to feel Venus retrograde. More than we've felt yet. It's in shadow. It's only 3 degrees away here. It's going to retrograde at 10. So we're not far away. Mars is going direct any moment. Saturn is now out of shadow this weekend. Okay? So when it comes to focusing on our responsibilities, focusing on the task at hand, Saturn is going to start to put the pressure on. When Saturn retrogrades, it's time to reassess, rethink, relook at, restructure, so hopefully during that time, we've been focusing on restructuring, a lot of not just our physical life, but our internal spiritual life, which is Pisces, the 12th house, Neptune, right? And now we're going to start to see the physical manifestation of that as Saturn starts to come direct and meet with the North Node. Okay, and then we'll meet with Neptune in Aries. So we're on our way. This is the weekend where we start to really move forward towards Saturn, North Node, Saturn coming out of its shadow, Mars, getting ready. So we're going to start to see a whole new timeline shift this weekend. What the feeling was last week was very much like a lot of endings, right? During that full moon. Okay, this weekend, I think, is going to be more forward thinking than we've had in a while. Jupiter's direct now. Mars is ready. Saturn is here finally. Okay, Uranus is direct. Still not out of shadow, which it won't be for a while. But, we're going to start to feel some positive forward momentum this week, which is really exciting because that full moon over this past week was super heavy, super gnarly. A lot of unexpected shit came up this weekend. A lot. Mercury's now in a new sign. So let's look at Sunday. This moon will oppose Chiron, so I think a lot of the relationship stuff that's going to come up this weekend. A lot of wounded, toxic, self-sabotaging issues could pop up with relationships this weekend. And I think, too, it's like with communication in Pisces, we don't want to blow up, our words bigger than they really are. We don't want to make the story bigger than it really is, right? Because that's not going to bring balance. That's not going to bring understanding. And that's hard with Mercury and Pisces. We just want to, talk about and tell our biggest dreams and connect with people about our dreams and our spirituality and our faith and our connectivity. But it's like keeping it real with this moon in Libra this weekend. It's going to be a challenge, no doubt. And relationships are the biggest focus this weekend, but a lot of unsettled stuff can come up after this moon opposes Venus and gets ready to meet with Chiron here. And of course, like Mars still has to square Chiron one more time. So Sunday evening, definitely be willing to have these emotional conversations, because when it comes to our identity and what we identify with, who we identify with, and the belief systems that we identify with within our relationships and where we feel emotionally connected, I think could really be stirred up this weekend. But this moon really wants to find balance, and of course, when there's one person who wants to find balance, the other party, it's always breaking through the I, right? Breaking through the I. I think this moon this weekend really wants to break through the I. Not the I mean like the I am, like Irie, like I am this. And it's like, well, this moon's like, well, we are, right? We're supposed to be unified here, right? And with this moon opposing Chiron, it's not always, it can be painful when you feel alone in a relationship, or things are one-sided. That comes up a lot here. That came up a lot with the South Node in Libra, And this Chiron in Aries is still not done yet. We still got a ways to go. So, we still have to look at the insecurities in the relationships. We still have to look at things we're imbalanced. Saturn is now direct. So we want to have our best suit on for Saturn. We want to have our best mindset. We want to be sober with Saturn, right? We want to be real. So finding balance this weekend, I think, is really the key with this moon in Libra. It's going to be in Libra all weekend until we get into Monday morning. It will square Mars as well. So, emotions are going to be very, very high this weekend. Some people might be more detached with this moon in Libra. When this moon opposes Venus and squares Mars, there's going to be a lot of push and pull emotionally, right? But we don't have Pluto and Capricorn now that we don't have to deal with in this area. So, we've climbed the mountain. We've gone through the emotional turmoil. We've had to put our emotions aside and keep trudging the path and keep, bandaging the wounds and just to keep moving, right? Pluto is in a whole different territory. So when we're coming into cardinal territory with, Aries placements and Cancer placements and Libra placements, we're going in a whole new direction now, and this is very liberating. These are very liberating times, extreme times, polarizing times, right? But this moon this weekend really wants to find balance. So I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Don't forget to go to my website, www.alexskylesastrology.com. Check out my one-on-one class if you guys are interested in learning astrology with me. So, this class I'm focusing solely on evolutionary astrology. It's one-on-one. I like to go one-on-one with people. Doing a whole class is a different vibe, So if you're interested in really diving deep one-on-one with me, go to my website and check out my school. So, and until March 1st, my 2025 readings are going to be available for that price that they're available at. So if you want to get your 2025 reading, go do so now. We only got 15 more days. Roughly 13 more days. I'm going to leave that up. So, and there's 4 more slots. I have 6 more slots for April for the class, and I have 4 more slots for the 2025 readings before March. So, love y'all. Thank you very much, and I will see you all on Monday. Have a great weekend. Peace out.